WHPC is nominated to be the best radio station on Long Island in the Bethpage Best of Long Island Awards. Help us win by voting at bestoflongisland.com.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box, here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. My name is Rob Leonard. With me, of course, is my brother and award-winning sports writer, Tim Leonard. As we talk sports every Monday. And a lot to talk about today, brother. But then again, the alarm's playing. You know, it's funny, brother. Gray Wilson, who's the host of Alternate to What on Tuesdays at 7 p.m.
Good plug, brother.
He's he knows, like you, he knows Mike Peters.
Exactly. He knows class people.
That's right. So
we're wearing one of my many alarm shirts today, brother.
Are you? Oh yeah, look at that. Which one was that?
I don't know. It has the stats. This is actually one of my favorite alarm shirts, and I actually looked at the dates on the back. This is from a tour from 2010. We're getting old in a hurry.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. Now, I am hurting, brother, as you know.
Let's not talk about
well, hold on. I just want to let, if I start going, and I don't shut my mic off in time, it's because I hurt my foot Saturday morning. I caught it. I don't think I twisted it, but I did something to it where the front part where the small toes are.
Yes.
Feels like someone's trying to, put a nail there.
Yes.
And it just hurts like hell. And
it's like Lou Voigt a few years ago for the Yankees, brother. Foot stuff. He had foot stuff. They kept talking about it. Everybody else on the team got hurt. Luke Voigt kept playing because he was tough. But all they said was, he's got some foot stuff.
Yeah, but he probably got a shot. And I need a shot.
The Yankees do have the most advanced modern medicine available to them. So.
I'm sure they do. But I might need that shot later on. And if there's a certain doctor out there who knows, we'll be visiting you later. Anyway, let's start off with the Jets because
something to feel good about, brother.
Well, the Liberty too. They came back. It's now 2-1 against the Las Vegas Aces. They're losing 2-1. It's a 5-game series. We'll get to them in a second because
there could be good news for the Liberty, brother. But
we'll wait.
Somebody else who has some foot stuff.
So anyway, the Jets 20, the Eagles 14. You know what this game proved to me, brother? That
I don't know what, brother.
Zach Wilson, will he ever get a thrown touchdown pass? I don't know. But this defense, holy crap. This defense is good. And they kept the Eagles, who are definitely...
They had a good game yesterday.
The Eagles, who are definitely were on their way to the Super Bowl, maybe not now, because they lost to the Jets.
Well, wait. Hang on, brother.
What?
See, first of all, the Eagles play in the same conference as the San Francisco 49ers, who also lost yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, well...
But... Two very good. That's probably your NFC Championship game right there. And Cowboy fans, you can call and argue all you want, but your team's not going to the NFC Championship game.
Well, you don't know that, brother. I mean,
I do, brother. I do.
I don't know. You've been pretty good so far with your predictions.
I'm like 90%.
Yeah,
I really should do like picks of the week or something.
We thought about that, but we decided not to because then it dates the show so fast. And plus, people can then check it out. Oh, look at Tim.
That's
was
fine.
Wrong. Yeah, Tim was wrong.
I'm happy to put my prognostication skills to the test.
The funny thing is, we said both the Jets and the Giants would be 2-4 at this point.
We did.
The Jets are 1-5. I'm sorry. The Jets are 3-3, and the Giants are 1-5.
The Jets are ahead of the pace that we expected for them, and that's without Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
We said 2-4 with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
I mean, that's how difficult the schedule is. And that's something, I mean, both the Jets and the Giants this year really did get screwed by the NFL schedule maker. And it's not intentional. It's not like they looked at the Jets and the Giants and said, "Oh, hey, let's stick it to New York." It's a formula, where different teams in divisions play other divisions, and it rotates.
Right.
So it just so happened that this is the year the AFC East plays the NFC East. Well, there's a lot of good teams in both divisions.
Right. This stuff is thought out years in advance. They say, let's have it cross over.
Right.
But of course, the other thing that gets me about it is, I hate to say it, the Cowboys are not in the East; they're in the Midwest.
Well, location, geographically, yes, but they are in the East for football terms.
Yes.
So they are in the NFC East. But in terms of the schedule, there aren't many easy games.
No.
And for my purposes, if the Jets go 9-8, that's a very successful season given their schedule.
I agree.
But at this point, they're not a playoff team. Because
they could be, brother.
They're going to have to surprise us like they surprised us yesterday a couple more times for them to get to that 10th or 11th win.
Well, look at it this way.
I don't see it happening.
Buffalo should have lost yesterday. Let's be honest.
Should have. They really should have. They didn't play well.
They didn't play well. The Giants played okay.
The Giants played very well.
But they should have won.
But they can't score a touchdown.
They can't score.
The Giants have gone 12 quarters now without a touchdown.
Right.
That's disgusting.
Now,
without an offensive touchdown.
But if the Bills had lost, brother, we'd have the Jets tied
for second place.
Second place right now.
3-3.
That's what you want.
By the way, I'd just like to point out for everybody in Boston, the Patriots are 1-5.
That's true, brother. You're right. When does Belichick? He's not quitting.
He should.
But
he really should.
But does he leave
bail
by the end of the season? He's not going to quit in the middle of the season.
No, of course not. He's not going to quit in the middle of the season. But I think he needs to take a long look at retirement after the season because the Patriots are at least 3 years away. They need a quarterback. And where are you going to get a quarterback? Hey, the Giants can trade him Daniel Jones if they want.
Yeah, well, that'll be good. Anyway, let's get back to the Jets.
Yes.
20-14.
Shocker.
Which is a shocker. They had a lot of interceptions considering. It's
well, the Jets made Jets made three, and Jalen Hurts, the Eagles quarterback, threw 3 interceptions, which tied a career high.
Right.
So the Jets were opportunistic on defense. They also forced a fumble, and so the Eagles turned the ball over 4 times.
Right.
And that, as was said after the game, you have 4 turnovers, and your chances to win aren't very good. And that was the Eagles yesterday.
Yep.
To me. And I know everybody still wants to kill him. Zach Wilson's he's playing well enough.
He is, but he's not getting passing touchdowns.
Well,
brother.
you know what? Passing touchdowns aren't an easy thing to do, brother. They're not an easy thing to do.
Come on, if you're the lead guy, you better start throwing.
The Jets' offensive line is still garbage.
It still is garbage.
It's not as bad as the Giants because the Giants is even worse because of all the injuries that they've had now. But the Jets' offensive line is still not good. And whoever
I agree with that. There's a couple of times watching the game and. Zach Wilson gets caught in the middle there, and they just destroy him.
Right. Meet at the quarterback, brother. That's what the defense
he should be at this point, knowing this, he's got to turn into Fran Tarkenton, start roaming around.
That's one. Well, of Wilson,
or throw the ball out of bounds.
One of Zach Wilson's problems, and I'm not. I know people are listening and say, "Oh, he's got so many problems." No. But one of his biggest problems is he is not good at feeling pressure.
Nope.
And quarterbacks need to have a sixth sense about pressure because it's a survival instinct.
Right.
But a good quarterback will feel the pressure and get out of there or unload the ball before the big hit comes. Zach Wilson, at least once a game, gets buried.
Buried, yes, I agree.
And it's at some point he's going to get hurt because you see Daniel Jones with the neck because he got destroyed by Van Ginkel, whatever his name is, for the Dolphins last week. That is a regular occurrence for Daniel Jones. But that is why you need a line because a good offensive line will keep your $40 or $50 million quarterback healthy and upright and give you a better chance to win the game. So I'm not going to belabor what we've been saying pretty much every week since before the season started, but both the Giants and the Jets need to address their offensive line issues, and that's why I look at Aaron Rodgers as being a 2-year project because he's not going to play this year. I don't care if he was there yesterday. He was walking around without a walking boot, no crutches.
Well, that tells you something, brother.
It tells you he's improving, but there's a long way between walking around on a field before the game and getting out there in an NFL game and having 300-pound guys chase you around and fall on your leg and, dropping elbows and whatever else they can on your Achilles to try to hurt you more.
Well,
if you think
dropping elbow sounds like professional wrestling.
If you think that guys in the NFL are nice to each other because they got hurt, no, wrong.
I know,
they're trying to hurt each other.
I know. Just remember Joe Namath, who wanted to put him into the ground and did a lot of times. Ben Davidson.
Yeah, and did a lot when back in the day when it was allowed. Back in the day when they didn't protect quarterbacks.
I still remember reading in Namath's book. He talked about. He was hit so hard and his head was put into the ground that he ate so much dirt he thought he was going to choke.
Yeah.
And he almost did.
Not much has changed, brother, except the players have gotten bigger and faster, which means that the hits are harder.
That's true. Anyway, so but one thing about this game, the Jets got that interception, and one thing I'm listening to Mark Sanchez. On
the Sanchez.
I'm
when you
listening.
say interception, you mean the Tony Adams interception late in the fourth quarter?
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Right. I just want to make sure which one.
And then he said, "Well, you shouldn't go towards the end zone. You should run out the clock." And I'm saying, no, not this team, not this team. They,
Well, they were down 2, so all they would have had to do was kick a field goal.
Yeah,
and they were already in field goal range.
Right, but it's better to get that 6 points or 5 points and then go for the 2.
Well,
and also the Patriots led them. Which was strange.
Not the Patriots.
I'm sorry, the Eagles.
I know we're talking about. I know we're talking about loser teams, and Patriots is the first name that comes up.
Yeah,
It's the Eagles.
Well, it's that Boston thing, brother. It's the Bruins and the Patriots. And,
last place Patriots, last place Red Sox.
Yeah, it's a whole city.
It is. It really is.
Even though we like Boston, we've been there. But
it's a fun place to go drink.
Even though Timmy almost got a fight.
It's a fun place to drink.
Yeah, it is.
That's,
so anyway, but Sanchez says, "Oh, they should hold back." No. And the other thing that got me about the Jets.
Well, let me interject.
Go ahead. 4:54 left in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And it's like 3rd and 10 now, 4th and 10. I'm sorry, you got to go for it at the 40-yard line.
That was a debatable call.
That was because. The Eagles screwed up.
You know why they did that, brother? I'm going to tell you why.
They thought they'd get the ball back.
Exactly. Saleh has confidence in his defense. To say, all right, we've owned this guy, and by this guy, Jalen Hurts, we've owned him all game. And my defense will get us the ball back.
But you never know.
You don't know. Of course, but he has confidence in his guys, even without Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed.
I agree. So that's a good point, brother. But to me, when you're that close, you got to go for it. And they didn't, but they won, so it doesn't matter. To me, they did the right thing, getting that touchdown right away instead of waiting.
But here's what I would have done.
I wouldn't have done.
And somebody should have put this in Breece Hall's ear.
What?
Before Saleh should have done it, or the offensive coordinator Hackett should have done it. Somebody should have told them, "Hey, they might let you score."
Right.
Because they need clock. The clock right now is both their friend and their enemy.
Right.
Because if the clock runs down, every second they lose, it becomes a bigger enemy.
Yeah.
So Breece, if they let you, if we're going to give you the ball, if they let you run, take a knee at the 1.
I don't know. I prefer to go in.
Why give them all the time?
Because you trust your defense. That's why.
Yeah, but teams play different defense.
I know.
In those last 2 minutes, which I've been
offense.
Screaming about for years. I hate it when they do that. I hate to prevent defense because it doesn't prevent anything except winning.
Yeah, I know.
It's stupid, and I don't know why. I don't understand why. To me, it's like trickle-down economics. It's proven it doesn't work.
Nope.
Why do we still try to use it?
Because people are too stupid to realize it doesn't work.
That's the point. So put it this way. It didn't bother me a lot that Breece Hall winning. I mean, let's face it. The Eagles didn't even try to tackle him.
No, they didn't.
A couple guys put hands on him and kind of touched it. It looked like touch football out there.
Yeah, it did.
But he went right in. Eagles had a minute 46 left, and it was like, okay, that's a lot of time.
That is a lot of time.
And even with the 2-point conversion, the Jets are up 6.
Right.
So if the Eagles score a touchdown, they're going to win the game because all they got to do is kick an extra point after that.
Right.
So, yes, do the Jets have confidence in their defense? Yes, they do, and rightfully so. It's a very good defense.
I love this defense.
But at the same time, Jalen Hurts is being paid a lot of money for good reason.
Right.
And the Eagles are still one of the best teams in football.
Right. They were 5-0 coming in.
Right.
Now they're 5-1.
Exactly. So, and they were 12-0 against the Jets.
Yeah,
and
for the last 10 years. 12 years
Saleh yelled in the press room when he got to the press room because they ain't 12-0 no more.
Nope.
Hopefully you can say
But
that
they
about
don't
the
play
Patriots.
them a lot. They don't play them a lot.
Well,
so,
yeah,
you know,
but I mean, hopefully you
it
can say
goes
that
back.
about the Patriots later in the season because the
Yeah.
Patriots have won, what, like the last 15, 16, 17 games in
Yeah,
a row
that
against
one's
the
got to
Jets.
change. It got
Stupid.
Yeah, that's got to change. But hey, you know what? I like this game. I was very happy with it watching it. You know, it's nice to see the crowd get into it. Even if I'm not a believer in Zach yet, as a touchdown quarterback, he's got to get out. You know what I'd love them to do?
That's
I
not
would love.
what they're going to do, brother.
I know they should bring in Joe Namath with all games from this year with Zach Wilson and just say, "Okay, Zach, this is what you do." You know, I used to have Ben Davidson come after me. I used to have the Oakland Raiders wanting to destroy me every time we played them. This is what you have to do.
I don't know that the youngsters have the same amount of respect for Joe Namath that you do, brother.
Well,
and
then,
especially after Joe ripped Zach Wilson a couple of
well,
weeks ago.
that's why you do it, because that's what you do in this situation.
But he's got Aaron Rodgers to talk to him.
Yeah, but
Aaron Rodgers is his hero.
Well,
so bringing Joe Namath in really isn't going to do a whole lot.
Yeah, but Joe Namath was pummeled.
Yeah, so
the way.
what? Aaron Rodgers has 20 years of getting pummeled.
Not like Joe Namath.
Well, maybe not like Joe Namath, but he's got, Aaron Rodgers is the guy who has experience running the offense that Zach Wilson is running.
That's true. I'll go with that.
And let's face it, Zach Wilson's best games have come with Aaron Rodgers in attendance.
Yes.
So let's make sure that Aaron Rodgers is sticking around. He's got a place around here, doesn't he? Why? He doesn't need to go back to California.
Aaron lives in Jersey, I think.
He's got to live in Jersey. I don't know if he bought a place, but at least he's renting or something. Let's have him stick around.
Yeah.
Let's have him do his rehab in New Jersey at the team complex. Get him a driver, bring him to Florham Park, and let's keep him around so he can get in Zach's ear and say, hey, this is what you're doing. I mean, they're paying this guy. I don't even know how much it is. Rodgers took a salary cut. Good for him, but he's still making about $40 million.
He's not poor.
No, he's not poor at all. So that's my point. Let's have him around.
Okay, I agree.
Let's have him at least chatting up Zach Wilson and contributing in some way, shape, or form.
I would do that. I would do on Monday mornings. I'd bring Aaron Rodgers in. Here's the films. Okay,
not too early though. Let him sleep.
Yeah, of course. Why should he come in that early? Come in at 12 o'clock.
But yeah, Rodgers walking around, no crutches, no walking boot. That was nice to see.
It was good. Do I think he's playing at the end of the season? No. Unless.
No, there's no unless.
Unless it's a playoff
it's an
game.
Achilles. It's an Achilles. I don't
He
care.
looked fine.
I don't care. All of these people with their. There's a difference between looking fine and being ready to play an NFL game. His Achilles needs to be the biggest problem with the Achilles surgery.
Well, they didn't snap it, brother. He didn't snap his Achilles. He stretched it, I think.
Well,
there's a difference.
They said it was torn.
Well, torn and stretched.
But if it was partially torn. Still, I don't think he's coming back.
Probably not. You're probably right, but I'm just guessing. I'm hoping.
I know, but guessing and hoping is not what we do here.
I know, brother.
But the point being, I mean, that was why when the original injury happened, I didn't think it was necessarily the Achilles because he was walking. I mean, if you snap your Achilles, you can't walk.
No,
your foot is just dragging.
Yeah, and he
was walking, and I was like, all right, well,
yeah, I remember.
Just
and
saw what happened.
The thing that got me. When they put him on the cart and he jumps up with his butt. He didn't lean on his foot to get onto it. He jumped with his butt to get on. That's why I knew something was. Yeah. He was in pain.
Exactly.
So,
but anyway, Jets 3-3. They got a bye week coming.
Yep.
By the way, brother, I did want to point this out. This was the best part of the game yesterday.
What?
Quincy Williams recovered a fumble.
Right.
Quinnen Williams.
How do you get Quinnen?
Intercepted a pass, making them the first brothers in the NFL since 2017 to each have a takeaway in a game.
Wow. Was it Tiki Barber and Rondé?
No. Tiki doesn't get takeaways. Tiki is an offensive player. Defensive players get takeaways.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to point that out since we are a show that celebrates brothers.
That's us.
So that was impressive to see. Also part of the ferocious Jets defense that helped them win the game. Even, like I said, Sauce Gardner missed the game because of a concussion. I didn't even realize he had one last week, but Watched the game from the bench on the Jets sideline. Yeah, it was.
Well, that's what you have to do. If you're gonna be hurt, you try to show up at the game. It gets the team going, gets the fans going, makes you think, okay, maybe he's coming back, even if he isn't, like Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
The fact that Aaron Rodgers can throw a ball without anything on him says something. Well, whether he actually plays, it doesn't matter because you're thinking more
but
positive.
he's not zipping the ball in there.
No,
but he's just playing catch in the backyard with those throws.
Well, that's better than being in a wheelchair and throwing it.
Well, anyway, here's the last point I wanted to make about the Jets.
Sure.
Now the schedule gets easier.
Yes, it does.
All right. Bye week this week. After that, Giants, Chargers, Raiders. Chargers are a pretty good team.
Okay.
But if the Jets don't beat the Giants, they should be embarrassed.
Yes, they should.
Raiders are a mediocre team, and Jimmy Garoppolo is hurt. So we'll see if he's healthy by then, but he's definitely hurt. And I still don't think the Jets are a playoff team, but I could certainly see 9-8 as a possibility. And if they're in that realm somewhere, I know people are going to be calling for Saleh's job after the season's over, and Joe Douglas too. I'm not killing either one of them because the schedule's been a joke. And yes,
agree.
I know the Dolphins play the schedule, the Bills play the schedule. It's pretty much the same schedule, but those teams are built to win right now. And the Jets with Aaron Rodgers were kind of built to win right now, although we said before the season the offensive line problems were going to be the reason that they didn't win, but they were at least in the mix.
I wonder, he didn't play much in the preseason. I wonder once, let's say he played okay, doesn't get hurt, do the Jets realize, oh, my God, we got to get someone for the front line?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the problem. You can't. I mean, you're not able to make trades like that in the NFL, like you can at baseball.
Right, that's true.
To get an impact offensive lineman at the NFL's trade deadline, first of all, it would require an immense package, and you would probably get somebody who was going to be a free agent. So it's going to be a rental who you might have to give up a first-round draft pick for.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because a lot of teams are looking for an offensive lineman. If somebody like that even became available, and not too many teams are going to give somebody like that away. But that's the kind of stuff you need to take care of in the offseason. And if you don't, it's going to haunt you the rest of the season.
Well, if you don't get a guy like Aaron Rodgers and then not say, well, maybe we don't really need a front line. Yeah,
but that's what they did.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I like Joe Douglas. I think he's done a great job for the Jets, but he dropped the ball on this one. He really did.
He did.
And I'm sure he was trying to get offensive linemen. I'm sure that was part of the plan, but it didn't materialize, and it was a glaring need that became even more glaring when Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
By the way, did you see SNL on Saturday night? Pete Davidson host?
Yes, I saw some.
Did you see the sketch they did?
Which one?
They did like NFL on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
And they ended up talking about, hey, where's Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
And then they had Kelsey at the end.
Yeah.
And then she introduced the second song. Ice Spice at the second. So they were both there. But
they weren't there at the end.
No, well,
for this on the stage.
Well,
they probably hustled them out of there because I'm sure.
Supposedly at the after party they were making out like.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
Good for them. I mean,
they probably brought them to the after party early.
Maybe that was it. I mean, it's a great thing. I think it's kind of funny. She's going on tour in like 4 weeks or something. So
I'm still not 100% convinced that this is actually real.
He left our apartment a couple of days ago in the morning. So guess what he was doing. Maybe. We don't know. Who knows?
I'm not going to guess.
I'm not going to guess either. Anyway, the Jets are looking good. By the way, I'm digging this Quinnen Williams. Though, where do you get Quinnen from?
It's a name, brother.
Quincy, I understand.
Where'd you get Rob from? I mean, come on.
Dad was named Rob.
Well, there you go.
Where did you get Timothy?
Maybe his father's named Quinnen. Who knows?
And then Timothy Jude.
They have a Quincy and a Quinnen.
Jude is like lost causes.
Maybe they have a thing with Q names. I don't know.
Mama when they got the house, put a St. Jude medal in the ground.
I'm aware.
And that's I think where they got your name.
Probably.
Timothy Jude Leonard. Hey Jude.
Yes, brother.
Anyway, let's see what happens with the Patriots in a couple of weeks. By the way, the Giants game that's coming up, it's considered a home game for the Giants, even though they play in the same stadium. So October 29th,
Correct.
1 p.m., that's going to be a loud game.
No.
Yes, it will.
It's a couple of defeated fan bases.
Oh, the Jets.
The Giants fans. I tell you what, the Giants fans go into that game, They're thinking that's going to be that might be their only second win of the year. I don't even know
Maybe.
what the Giants' schedule looks like the rest of the season. But
Well, I'm looking at the Jets
we'll
right
look
now.
that up.
Yeah, we'll look it up. But I'm looking at right now. The Giants fans are going to sell the tickets. They're going to put them online, and
I wouldn't be surprised. If I'm a Giants fan, I don't want to go to that game.
No, I don't either.
If some Jet fan wanted to pay me a couple $100 or whatever, yeah, I would. They say thank you very much, because I don't necessarily want to go see my 1-5 team. Now the Giants will be better once Andrew Thomas gets back from the hamstring injury, and Saquon yesterday had 93 yards playing on a bad ankle. But I was a little surprised he was back. I thought he was going to miss one more week.
Yep.
But he finally found some space and ripped off a couple of big runs. He wasn't doing much before that, but end product is all that matters in the NFL, and he wound up with 93 yards. That's a good day for a guy with a bad ankle.
Yep. Let's take a break right now. We'll talk about the Liberty when we get back, because they are in the finals of the WNBA, and this is, I think, going to turn the WNBA. There's a lot of people watching these games, partly because it's a New York thing, partly because these are two really good teams and it's being promoted properly. This could they probably add a couple of more teams in the next couple of years, because that's what.
Well, they already said they're adding.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to 90.3 WHPC. My name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. If you want to give us a call, give us a comment, or have a question, 516-572-7440.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by The Nest at NCC, a food pantry located on the campus of Nassau Community College. The Nest offers groceries, personal care items, school supplies, and new clothing to anyone in need who are part of the campus community who are finding it hard to make ends meet. The Nest is a nonprofit agency that accepts donations of food, basic health supplies, and more. Whether you are able to provide help or need some, more information is available by email, foodinthenest@gmail.com. That's foodinthenest@gmail.com, or online at nestncc.weebly.com. That's nestncc.weebly.com.
Okay. Yo.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out. Check it out.
Where is a place that you think you should ban children?
My pediatrician's office.
But that's like...
Isn't that like...
Yeah, isn't that like 4 kids?
As a 22-year-old who still sees the pediatrician, I kind of feel a little awkward when I'm sitting in the waiting room next to a newborn baby.
The only thing that I get upset about is that they don't offer me lollipops at the end.
That's the worst part. I don't get stickers anymore.
Yo, give me the cool Band-Aids. Don't give me the adult Band-Aids.
Yeah, no. They're like no sticker for you.
Stick it somewhere else then.
Yeah, stick it up my butt.
That was very aggressive.
They're the pediatrics, not the gynecologist.
Oh, different hole, my dude.
Anyway.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
.3 WHPC. By the way, that's Marching On by The Alarm.
Yes, it is.
Just to let you know. Your WHPC weather forecast powered by Pantano's Gourmet, with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. This afternoon, it's going to be partly cloudy, high about 60. Wow. And tonight, it's going to be more partly cloudy, but it's going to go down. It's actually going down like 50 degrees, brother.
Getting cold.
It's getting cold fast. I mean, I got to start sealing my windows and stuff.
Do that.
So I don't get cold. Because around my air conditioner, it's just a disaster.
Got to get that fixed, brother.
Anyway, currently outside our studios here at Nassau Community College, it is 55 degrees. My name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard, and this is From the Press Box every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This show becomes a podcast later on if you miss it or you want to maybe hear it again. I don't know. 516-572-7440. That's the number to call if you have any comments or questions. Let's talk about the Liberty versus the Aces, the premier two teams, well, the two premier teams in the WNBA. The Liberty could have lost the series. It's only a 5-game series, but they won 87-73. Game 4 is coming to the Barclays Center on Wednesday, and Game 5 is Friday night in Las Vegas. It would be kind of cool if...
I think we're going to Game 5.
Well, I think so, too. But it'd be really cool if it's a really good Game 5, too, because that's what you need. And this is...
No, I want to see the Liberty win by 20.
Well... But imagine you win in
Sorry,
Vegas,
Becky Hammond.
and the guy who owns the Liberty is the guy who owns the Nets.
Right, Josiah.
Yeah, so he probably just say, "Hey, stay a couple of days,"
Well, that's what I said. I mean, how great would it be, brother, if you're the Liberty?
Yeah,
you're going back to Vegas for Game 5 on a Friday.
Right, you got the whole weekend.
Hey, let's win a title and hang out in Vegas for the weekend.
Yep.
That's beautiful. How much more perfect does it get? That's exactly the way I would script it.
I would too.
So hey, let's go hang out in Vegas. Perfect.
No
problem.
I agree, man.
Beautiful.
Anyway,
Josiah say, hey, here's a little gambling money. Throw $100,000 in the locker room and just let the players divvy it up themselves.
I'm not sure he would do that. But
Why not?
They make a certain amount for winning the championship. So
There's not a lot of bonuses.
I'm sure there's not a lot of it, but it's better than what
they're regular people. The WNBA players, they're not making any kind of millions of dollars in salary.
Yeah, I know that, brother.
So
I remember getting something.
They're going to the $10 blackjack tables.
I remember a couple of years ago, this girl I know posted a thing about LeBron James and whoever the top person in the WNBA at the time was, and listed she made like $250,000 and LeBron made $35, and underneath it,
$35 million.
And it says, "Is this right?" And I was going to write back, "Yes, it is," because the NBA brings in a lot more money, and that's what it's about.
That's
and plus,
what it comes
they play
down to.
longer seasons and all this other thing.
Yeah.
Not that the
I understand what you're saying.
WNBA doesn't deserve to make money. But, they have to start playing a full season, 80 games, and that's not happening yet. So,
well, I mean, the whole thing with money in women's sports, it comes back to TV contracts.
Right,
It comes back to expanding the league, and this is all stuff that takes a while.
It takes a while.
It didn't. The NBA didn't start off as a multi-billion-dollar global enterprise.
I remember in the early 80s, after the ABA merger, the NBA was having their games on tape delay.
Exactly.
The playoff games were on CBS. They were on 11:30.
And back then, players were making about $70,000 a year. They certainly weren't getting rich playing in the NBA.
And then it went national, went global. Really, that's David Stern.
Exactly. So that's and the WNBA players until recently, a lot of them were playing their quote unquote off season, which actually was their main season in Russia. Because Russia there's a big women's sports market there.
Yep.
And they were making some of the players were making $1 million for a season. So that's where they were going to get their cash. Obviously, nobody's going to play in Russia now. So I don't know where they might go to play, but a lot of them have just said, you know what, I'm not going to play in Europe. So maybe the possibility is there to expand the WNBA season.
I agree.
As long as you have the top players and if they're
and
willing and available.
People have to show up. People have to show up for the games.
Well, that's the other thing is the marketing. I have absolutely no problem with women athletes getting paid as much as possible.
Right, and you've covered a lot of women's sports.
I have.
So I would consider you an expert on how this is done.
Yes, I am absolutely an ally for the female athlete. But when women and female athletes start talking about equal pay, it's not the same thing.
No.
The NBA has a multi-billion-dollar TV contract.
Yep.
That is what is driving the salary structure because that's where the money is coming from. The WNBA doesn't have that. So you can't tell WNBA owners, well, you have to pay us more. Well, where's the money coming from?
No, I agree.
People don't own teams to lose money.
The only two places where it's become even is tennis. The four majors, which makes sense.
I understand it, but I would still like to see the women playing 5 sets.
I would too. At least for the championship, or at least from the quarterfinals on, or whatever. You'd like to see a 3 out of 5 match because 2 out of 3, and it's done in an hour in a bad match. And then the other thing is the soccer. The World Cup soccer, and the women. Let's be honest, they've won more. But they still don't get the money. But now they sort of evened it out somehow. I don't know how.
With soccer, with the men's and the women's soccer, they basically, as far as I know, and I don't want to say I'm 100% on this, but what they've done, as far as I can tell, is they've pooled the money.
Right.
So women are getting money. If the men get paid, the women are getting some of it. When the women get paid, the men are getting some of it. So it's kind of working itself out that way.
It's sharing.
Yeah, but the women in soccer, the U.S. national team, despite their dismal showing at the most recent World Cup, they have been I don't want to say by far, but they make money. And that's why they can get paid.
Right.
And you can, when you look at the men, obviously the FIFA World Cup as opposed to the FIFA Women's World Cup, but the FIFA World Cup brings in a lot more money.
Yes.
Because there are still countries all over the world where women's soccer is looked down upon.
Sure.
And it's not looked at in the same way as it is in this country, where we embrace it, we encourage it, we celebrate it because we had the most successful team ever.
Well, that tells you a lot.
Which in the men's is not like it. I mean, there's still in England, I still have friends in the UK who they'll complain if a woman is doing like the announcing on a match that they're watching over there. I mean, it's so ignorant.
Yeah, well,
but it still happens.
Of course it does.
I had this conversation the other day with somebody I know on Facebook the other day where it was like, oh, I can't stand it when a woman does the game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you hear yourself?
Remember, brother, back in the beginnings of ESPN, there was a woman named Rhonda Glenn.
I remember her.
And Rhonda,
I didn't like her too much.
I didn't think she knew a lot about sports, but she was there.
Uh-huh.
But then eventually it started to get other women who actually knew sports. You know,
Linda Cohn is outstanding.
Linda Cohn, who's a Long Island girl.
Went to college with my buddy Dave Rosenbaum up at Oswego.
Right, and she worked at WGBB Radio for a while.
There you go.
So
she played goalie too.
Yeah, she's a big hockey person. So it takes a generation to get it going. That's I think, part of it.
Exactly.
So
that's why what I'm talking with women's sports. It takes time. It's going to take 60 years or so. I mean, things will happen faster nowadays.
Right.
But it's going to take a couple of generations.
It's going to make it move faster. And I say this about arena football and the spring league football that's happening, where they're merging together.
I don't know what this is.
You have to know where it's going. You just have to listen.
Go ahead, brother.
This is what you have to say. I'm going to listen to my brother.
I'm going to listen to my brother.
That's it. That's all you have to say, because I have a great idea. They're going to need more sports to gamble on. So an arena game,
oh, good Lord,
or a spring game, they don't have to make a lot of money. But they need something to gamble on, because that's all they care about now, gambling.
Who are you talking about?
The people who gamble, and the ones that the ones
they don't
who
want to gamble in WNBA games or
why
arena
not?
football
If you're addicted,
you'd have to be a really degenerate.
Yeah,
yeah, but that's not an overwhelming amount of society.
It doesn't matter,
it's
because
a small percentage.
You need to have for the arena league or whichever league
you're going to
use.
Who's paying for it?
You can show those games. And you get them cheap, and that's it. That's all I have to say.
I disagree.
Anyway, let's talk about the WNBA a little bit more, brother.
Yes.
It's now 2-1 in the series.
Game 3 is Wednesday night at the Barclays Center.
Right.
And like you said, Game 5, if needed, is Friday in Vegas.
Yep.
The Liberty yesterday, the defense was there, and that was the difference in the game. The defense that they played in Las Vegas was a disaster.
Right.
104 points allowed in the second game, 99 in the first game. It's just terrible. Nobody's going to win. Those are numbers that NBA teams put up. And if a WNBA team puts it up, you're getting killed. Is what's happening. So they didn't play well. They didn't shoot well. They didn't defend well. They didn't do a whole lot well. Yesterday, Jonquel Jones, again, Jonquel Jones is the most overlooked player on this team, even though she was an MVP in the league, 2 or 3 years ago. But she just goes in and she's banging inside, scoring points, getting the ball, moving people, grabbing rebounds. 27 points yesterday, 8 boards, led the Liberty. Breanna Stewart, who was the WNBA MVP this season, had 20 points and 12 rebounds. Liberty made 13 three-pointers yesterday, which was key for them.
Yeah, but I
and
wish,
shot 43% from behind the arc.
I wish the women's league did not have the three-pointer.
Oh, that's silly.
That's just me.
Absolutely silly. Kelsey Plum led the Aces with the game-high 29 points. But Asia Wilson, the one who whined when Breanna Stewart won the MVP award, had 16 points on 4 of 16 shooting. Not a good game.
No.
Here's where it gets better for the Liberty, brother.
Okay.
And here's where we might be celebrating a title.
Okay.
Las Vegas point guard Chelsea Gray suffered what looked like a pretty serious foot injury. This is where I'm talking about foot stuff, brother.
That's me.
Fourth quarter yesterday, ESPN cameras showed her hopping on one foot. That's how bad her foot hurt. Hopping on one foot to the Aces locker room.
I know that feeling.
She tried to walk into the locker room and literally crumbled to the ground.
I almost crumbled walking into here.
That's how much pain she was in.
I had to have my brother help me.
So this is somebody who is described as one of the 3 best point guards in WNBA history.
Okay.
And is very much the leader of the Las Vegas Aces, even though Asia Wilson is also very much of a leader. But this is a player who is extremely important to what they do.
Yep.
Now, do they have other players who can handle the ball and pass the ball? Of course they do. The team is loaded. But take Chelsea Gray out of the mix, and I'm saying the Liberty are winning Game 4, and we're going back to Game 5 in Las Vegas. And the injury that I saw Chelsea Gray, you don't recover from that in 3-4 days. She couldn't walk. Literally could not walk. You think she's going to be able to run up and down the court for 35 minutes?
No, she's got to get a
in
wheelchair.
5 days?
No, unless they juice her up or something.
Well, you can't juice up a foot, brother. You can't have a numb foot playing basketball. It's not possible.
Yeah, I know.
So, as much as I don't like to see players get hurt, I'm not a fan of injuries. I never wish injuries on any player because I think that's disgusting. But this certainly helps the Liberty and their cause in terms of winning their first title ever.
Ever. It's like the Knicks. It took them 24 years almost to win their first title. So that's a good thing. Also, there was a sellout crowd, though the upper bowl wasn't sold.
Yes, it was.
It was? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Big crowd.
Okay, and
celebrities all over the
place. Which is this is how you sell it too. Joan Jett was there, Robin Roberts, Sue Bird, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Sudeikis, and Little Kim.
Little Kim, she's still famous.
And
plus, a lot of old libs were there.
Yeah,
Sue Wicks was there. Teresa Weatherspoon, who just got a job coaching the Chicago Sky.
Right.
That's 3 former Liberty players who are now coaching the league, brother.
That's good.
Vicky Johnson and Crystal Robinson.
Wow.
These are all the players I covered back in the day.
Right.
Spoon. I told you that story. Spoon gave me the hug when I was trying to do an interview about how old the team was getting, and she didn't want to answer the question. And she kept saying, "Oh, come on, man. And I said, Spoon, I got to ask. I said, because the team hasn't drafted well. I said, you don't have anybody to replace you guys, and you're 38. You're not getting any younger. And she goes, "Oh, come on, man. I don't want to answer that." And I'm like, "Spoon, I got to answer the question." Her response was to hug me.
Well, it's...
She was just like, "Man, maybe if I hug him, he'll stop asking me questions."
Not really. Well, I'm glad you got a hug. Everyone needs a hug.
So I was like, "Oh, Spoon, I love you too, but I still got to ask you questions."
Good luck to the Liberty. I think they're going to take it in 5.
Let's hope so. Let's hope. I'd like to see a title. I'd like to see them finally win a title, and I'd like to see New York win a title.
Well, actually, they have to win it in 5. It's not like it's 7.
Yeah, no, the 5 is it.
All right, so anyway, let's talk about the Giants, brother. These guys are like the Jets. It's like,
no, they're much worse than
we
the
can't
Jets.
get a touchdown through a pass.
The Giants have gone 12 quarters without an offensive touchdown,
That's
brother.
3 games.
No, it's 3 games, exactly. It's disgraceful. And you know what? I thought Tyrod Taylor played pretty well, and I know people are going to be listening here and screaming at the radio. It's Tyrod. No, it's not. It's actually Tyrod. That's how he pronounced it. I'm going to go with his own pronunciation on his own name. I don't understand how so many people get this wrong. He's on rhythm. He's throwing the ball. He's fade. I mean, he looks much more confident back there than Daniel Jones. He looks like a much more decisive quarterback than Daniel Jones. And the Giants were able to move the ball to a certain extent yesterday.
Right.
It was just the whole thing at the end of the first half. What a disaster! Giants have the ball at the 1. They
How do you not put it in?
As far as I could tell, and it wasn't really confirmed after the game, but it looked like Taylor changed the play at the line of scrimmage. And there was like, I don't even know, 10, 12 seconds left or whatever.
Right.
The play for me, all right, if I'm playing, if I'm coaching, if I'm at the 1 and I don't have any timeouts left, the first thing I'm doing is rolling out.
Right, and then you throw it out of bounds and you have another chance.
Well, either you. First of all, I'm looking at my receivers. First option, second option, whatever. If it's not there, then I'm looking. Do I have space? Can I run?
Well,
because you only got to go a couple of yards to get to the end zone.
I know.
That's what I'm doing. Instead, they hand the ball to Saquon. He gets stacked up at the line. They can't snap the ball again to clock it so that they can at least get a field goal. To not get a field goal there, at least, was a disgrace. And Coach Dable was going out of his mind because he knew when you go into halftime and you're beating the Bills 6-0, after the Bills just played a horrible half and your own team played a pretty good half, but it's still a one-score game. Sure. So it takes away from it. If you go up 9-0, now it's a 2-score game. So that field goal, or it would have been better for a touchdown, it had a massive impact on the game. So, I thought you were going to say something.
No. I'm just checking something. But I mean, if you're that close, you have to go in. And they,
but that's what they try to do. Saquon is the guy. I mean, you're running right side of the line. But that, to me, the play was a terrible play. I don't know why. I don't know why he changed it to that. I don't know what he saw.
You go in with a short pass because if it doesn't happen, then you have one more chance.
Right. There should have. That's why I say you have to roll out.
Right.
Because if you're not going to use up all the clock, you're still going to have enough time for a play. But if you roll out and you do some sort of play action, that's fine. But to sit there and go belly dive right and have Saquon stopped at the line, and now it's, I mean, as soon as that play stopped, and then, of course, the Bills sat on Saquon.
Sure.
Because if he can't get up, then they're not going to be able to snap the ball.
Yep.
So, of course, they're going to sit on him.
Yep. I mean, this could have been a major game to change the AFC East. It would have been a nice thing for the Giants to show that maybe they're not to have their season destroyed already.
It's done. The Giants are done.
Yeah, I know that. But if they had won,
here's what I want for the Giants.
Won, they'd be 2-4.
Here's what I want for the Giants.
What?
I want them to lose enough so they can draft a new quarterback.
Oh, that doesn't happen, man. You know that.
It will.
No,
it will.
We don't know what's happening to Daniel Jones. If he has his, I think they're going to keep him out the rest of the season.
Well, no, they can't. With this, he says he's like, practically ready to play.
Yeah, he says that, but
they're not going to do that.
Quickly, brother, we're running out of time. Islanders started their home season on Saturday. Bob Tuck was there, Corey Tuck was there, and that means the Islanders usually win. They won 3-2 over the Sabres.
Casey Cizikas, brother.
Yep.
With the wrister in the third period.
Yep.
And they had to wait. They had to wait until he actually had the tip.
Yep.
But the stick was a little high.
Yeah.
Not so high that it was illegal.
Right.
But it was around the chest level. They took a look, the VAR, the hockey VAR, whatever they call it, and finally determined it looked like the stick was about the same height as the crossbar, which is legal.
Right.
So it took a little while, but yes, good goal.
Well, one thing I give the Islanders, it was a sellout game, which is what you want to see.
Home opener.
No, but last year you didn't think that there was going to be a good season for this year, that they would sell out all their tickets. It's 18,000 seats there. It's not like the Coliseum when it was 16, and it was a little different. This is 18, so I was very happy to see that. And we're going to a couple of games this year at least. We know we don't know games yet, but we've already made our minds up. We're going.
Yes.
And I'm taking the train, by the way. I'm not.
Good.
I'm not taking.
Very
I am
good,
not
brother.
driving to that weird parking lot in that tunnel that goes
don't do that.
underneath the Hempstead Turnpike.
But yes. Brock Nelson with the first goal of the season, brother. Very appropriate since it is Brocktober.
Yes,
and I thought he got the second one, but apparently it went off Kyle Palmieri's toe or something. Cheapest goal of Kyle Palmieri's career. He wasn't even facing the net.
But if it goes off his foot, why should it be a goal? It should be the guy who shot it.
It's whoever touches it. It actually hit Palmieri's toe, then hit a defenseman, and then went in.
I can see if it hits a stick.
No.
But
it literally grazed the toe of his skate.
That's not. That's
I saw it change direction.
That's like steering it in with your skate. even though it wasn't.
It hit just grazed Palmieri's skate, then hit the defenseman and off the defenseman's leg and into the goal. Cheapest goal of Palmieri's career.
And we should say,
but well done, Kyle.
The Jumbotron displayed the blue and white Israeli flag during time of reflection.
Yes,
which
that
is a
was
cool
appropriate.
thing. We also should say that Barry Melrose, the well-liked ESPN announcer, former NHL coach and player, has announced that he has Parkinson's disease, and he has announced he is retiring.
Yeah, he's already retired.
Yeah, so it's too bad because he was always a good guy to have on. And I remember when the ESPN lost the NHL, it's like, oh, where's Barry Melrose going to go? I think they had him on for some things, but it wasn't the same because he would be there every night. And
right.
He was a good analysis.
He's a guy who I remember from back in the day because when I was up in Albany, he was coaching the Red Wings minor league team up there.
Right.
The Glens Falls team. And even back then, I mean, to me, he was a guy that he had a little bit of like fake it till you make it in him.
Right.
But the suits were still there, even though it was a lower budget suit.
Right.
But, he liked to dress. He was a flashy kind of guy. Talk big, always talk big. But that's what I mean by a little fake it till you make it. Then he finally got to the NHL. He didn't do so well in the NHL, but finally found what he was meant to do when they brought him into the studio. And I mean, he was there for 30 years? I mean, that's a hell of a run in television.
It reminds me of Jeff Van Gundy, man. Here's a guy who, I thought was a great coach, but he decides to leave, goes to ABC and ESPN, and he's really good.
Van Gundy was a great coach. He was. Melrose was 84, 108, and 29 as a head coach.
Right.
That's not a great coach.
No, but with Van Gundy,
and he had Gretzky.
Yeah, but with Van Gundy, there's a chance he's going to be taken over for Clyde. Clyde doesn't want to travel to the West Coast anymore.
Clyde's getting old, brother.
He's like 80 years old.
I know. That's my point. He's getting old.
So he doesn't want to travel. So they're thinking of either Mark Jackson and or Van Gundy, which they both have worked together. So
yeah, of course.
So and they worked with Breen, so that works out very well. We should say we didn't really care about Major League Baseball's playoffs because it's just like the weirdest playoff thing we've seen in a while because all the big games, all the big teams didn't win. It's like
Braves lost. Orioles lost.
How did the Braves lose, man? I thought they were the team.
Dodgers lost. Every team that won 100 games this year is out.
Yeah.
So now you have the Houston Astros playing against the Texas Rangers. They both won 90 games this year. And you have the Arizona Diamondbacks playing against the Phillies for the National League. And obviously, two of those teams are going to the World Series.
Yep. What bothers me about this a little bit, brother?
A lot bothers me.
Well, it bothers me about, but it also says, hey, look at these teams. They spent all this money, and they didn't make the playoffs. So, this whole stupid salary cap.
Well, no, they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I know they made the playoffs.
But they didn't advance.
They didn't advance.
I think baseball needs to look at their playoff system.
I do, too.
And I don't know how they're going to do it or what they're going to do, or they would never shorten the season.
Never.
But I think they need to. I think that could be one of the answers, because the bye actually hurts teams.
It does, because there's too long of a wait.
Yeah.
And I think in baseball you don't need that long of a wait.
You don't, because baseball is a daily game.
Yeah.
And yes, you have an occasional day off and whatever, but to give a team 5 days off or whatever it was,
which is more than like the All-Star break, if you think about it.
Right. But it's only one team. The other team is playing and is still doing what they normally do.
And then they get on a run. They all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, here's our team. It's reaching its toppermost type of thing at the right moment." That's a Beatle.
I'm listening to my brother. But look, you look at the Braves. The Braves have been the best team, or one of the best teams in the National League 2 years in a row. And 2 years in a row, they've lost to the Phillies.
Well, think about
a team that they dominated in the regular season.
It reminds me, and Bob Costas doesn't want to be reminded of this, but when the Braves won in '95, he called them the team of the decade. And I'm like, well, they only won one World Series in that time, but they kept winning the.
They won the division every year.
Yeah, so he called them the team of the decade, and then of course here comes the Yankees.
Here come the Yankees.
And guess what? Sorry, Bob, we
New
love
team
you.
of the decade.
New team of the decade because they won 4 out of 5.
Here comes Joe Torre saying, "Bob, the decade's not over yet."
And actually, if you think about it, if the Yankees had won in '95, Torre probably doesn't get put in that.
Buck might still be the manager of the
He
Yankees.
might be, but then who knows?
So anyway, brother, yesterday Texas Rangers defeat the Astros 2-0 in Game 1. Jordan Montgomery, remember him?
I do.
Back when the Yankees traded him and said that one of the reasons was that they couldn't rely on him in the playoffs.
Well, guess what?
6 1/3 yesterday, 5 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts. Jordan Montgomery's making himself some money in this postseason, brother.
I hope so.
He's looking. I'll tell you what. Somebody's going to give him a contract because he's a free agent after this season. Somebody's going to give him at least 4 years for 70, 5 years for 90, somewhere in that range.
That's not bad.
2 years ago, I would have laughed if somebody would have said that. Jordan Montgomery's making himself money. He's going to get paid.
Yeah, well,
so
and
good for
you know
him.
what I like about him? He pitched 6 1/3.
6
They didn't
1/3.
take him out after 5.
And he was going up against Verlander.
Yeah.
Verlander went 5 1/3.
Yeah, okay.
Only gave up 1 run.
Yeah, well.
Evan Carter doubled and scored in the second, and Leody Tavares hit a solo home run in the 5th. Oh, that means Verlander gave up 2 runs.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay.
And so Game 2 is tonight. Game 1 for the Diamondbacks and Phillies is tonighter.
And it's on TBS.
The National League game
ESPN.
is on TBS. The American League game is on Fox,
Right.
FS1.
Yeah.
So, and also, brother, this surprised me.
What?
Early or middle last week, Francisco Lindor had elbow surgery.
I was going to mention that.
And apparently was playing all season with a bone spur that he started feeling in spring training.
Says a lot.
Obviously, he couldn't have surgery in spring training. He would have missed a couple of months.
Maybe he wouldn't have batted so poorly.
You know what?
most of the season.
You keep saying that, brother, but look at the final numbers.
I see.
254, 31 home runs, 98 RBIs, and he played 160 games.
I know, but he's supposed to be hitting 284.
He wound up with a pretty good season.
He did. I'm not because he started out so bad.
And when you find out, when you discover that he had elbow surgery or he needed elbow surgery for the entire season, I can forgive the 254 that maybe should have been 274.
Right.
So anyway, and last note from me.
We have 1 more minute,
Yes,
and
brother.
Big Ed comes in.
Last note from me. Soccer, the international break is going on today, but I just wanted to point out that my man Big Ange Postecoglou was named the Premier League Manager of the Month for September, and Heung-min Son of Tottenham was named the Player of the Month. Second straight month that Tottenham has swept the awards.
How could they not?
How about that?
How could they not, brother?
Tottenham, first place, Tottenham, by the way.
Anyway, congratulations, brother. Congratulations. That just
Fantastic.
about does it. For From the Press Box, my name is Rob Leonard. He is Tim Leonard. This show becomes a podcast later on. Thanks for listening. Big Ed is coming up next. He was Big Ange, but this Big Ed, he's been Big Ed way before Big Ange. And he's coming up next with good gold. So keep it tuned here to WHPC. Don't forget to vote for us in the Best of Long Island. We want to be the best radio station on Long Island for the 3rd year in a row. Go to bestoflongisland.com, look for the radio station, click on WHPC, and guess what? We might win again. It would be very cool if we did. Take care, and bye-bye.